So, one of these things I noticed about this radio is like on the 7300, you could change a bunch of stuff in the waterfall and the spectrum. You could have like this white line or a green line around the outside of the spectrum. I don't think you can do anything with this radio. I don't think you can change it. Um, so let me see here. We go into here. Right now, we do have peak level 1, marker on, color 10. Okay. Let's see. And then I guess I never really did a video where you guys can see like the different colors of the waterfall. I've got the gain turned down really low on the waterfall. I really don't like the gimmicky 3D. Anyway, so they don't really let you control. The icon will let you change a bunch of stuff on it, and you can really make it look pretty cool. None of these really look good. I don't know. Looks like the same as the other crap. Well, you can see a little different color in there. No, I think this is the color it came shipped with. It was like this kind of color. Let's see what. No. When you turn it down, you can just see your signal. You can get rid of some of the other stuff to make it a little easier. You maybe tell where signals are at on the band with this. But it's really kind of difficult. It'll come back to you. Do you need leather work also? A little bit. I make scabbard. They're real simple. I don't try to get into that. The guy I go to church with, though, who, on the other hand, I make him a knife once in a while, whatever he wants. And he'll do whatever I want, leather work, man. He's good at it. What's this going to do? It's going straight back up. Alright. So just wait. Yep, windows brown white. Just when you think you've seen everything, you learn something new. Yeah, it's always good to learn something new. Or to wonder about something. It's probably just over here. I read a good one today. I'll share it with you as soon as I get it to come off my notes. The last picture So let's see what other color we got. Yeah, I did get that. Okay, listen. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. Normally, I don't have this thing right about 5. And so then you see we get so much noise.
Yeah, who's not hearing you?
You're not going to see anything. It's just too much.
Oh, I didn't get that. Did he say, hey, Dennis? The weird kid. Yeah, I was.
I'm going to run it down to all the way to the other extreme. And see what it will do.
You have 34 times. I do too. I feel it's my fault more than half the time. Proper planning prevents pretty poor time. J6BJ and I'm back. Yeah, but then how do you get a word in edgewise real quick?
So I like this color scheme. It's as close to the 7300 and the flex stuff that I like. I don't mind that color. I don't like that color. Like, can I just change them separately?
Control ZW. 20 over in Lucerne Valley, KJ6BJN. And 615. 20 over in Lucerne Valley as well.
Alright, we'll leave it on that one.
Oh, good evening.
I'm trying to think if that was what it came with. I think it is. And then,
Where is that?
I mean, it kind of looks cool. It looks like some fire, you know.
Oh, man, you just faded down to almost nothing. You said your LAX there.
Okay. So,
You catching, John? He faded out in the middle of what he was saying. I wasn't hearing him, and he went away.
okay, I don't know what that one is.
Okay, you're back up there.
Okay. Ooh, look at it did. Okay. So if we play with the peak level, we can change how it looks quite a bit.
Well, it's a good idea to give them a minute or two to warm up.
They got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5.
Well, his name is Dennis. And it's Kilowatt Bravo 6 Lima 013. I'm up at Fort Bragg. 120 miles upwind of San Francisco.
Yeah. Okay. Rocker. So we really can't do anything else with it.
Yeah, putting out about 500 watts.
So we got this set to 50 to 3500. Okay. I don't want to sound like a DX station. I want all the bandwidth that I can get. But if we were to change it, it'll go there. That's about 2800. It's 26. Okay. Okay. 24. 22. So to go from 22, 24, 26, and then 28, and then you got there. So I think that's the factory. Just leave it right there.
Oh, he was in and out. I mean, the conditions, he was just going in and out there. I don't know whether he's right on the edge of one of my bounces or what.
Narrow width.
Yeah, I could tell there was a voice talking out there, but that's about it. My noise
I don't
level's
know
like
what that
5
is.
now, which is kind of low.
CW
He was
auto
just
mode.
over that.
You know, I'd like to find out where it is that it shifts the frequency when you change from a mode.
5-2. Boy, it hasn't been this quiet in a while.
Mine was the same last night. It's 5. It was 5 last night too. But that is as low as
Oh.
a little bit.
You get it.
There's so many people out there anymore. And all the equipment they have, that everybody has from washing machines to computerized refrigerators, Actually, we hear it all. It's just that noise floor just keeps growing and growing.
Yeah, every couple of years or maybe every year, but every couple of years for sure. I noticed a new section of roadway that's like I listen to AM radio in my truck, and it gets a lot of RF from certain sections of road, like from one pole to the next, and whatever they're running through that pole, and then it turns off.
Let's see.
A lot of RF, and I found it at like
General.
2 or 3 different locations around here in about a 30-mile circle.
Get the beep level.
Yeah, that's not uncommon, especially in the
RF squelch VR. I'm gonna.
You get a moisture content night, it'll turn on. Shut the fuck up.
Okay.
I don't know what exactly it is, but one of them signals that they run along the power line.
I don't want RF gain to be compromised. Okay, we get tuner, external tuner, tuner, linear port, linear.
What is that? It could be tenant.
Yeah, I don't know how much they use it anymore, but it's they call it broadcasting over the power line. BPL.
Internal fast. What's that?
Because some of their
External.
stuff was right on the
ATES.
frequencies.
So, internal fast tuner.
That's just a gigantic antenna.
I don't know if you guys see that? Internal fast. Like, what the hell? That's crazy. So,
Do a little research on that, see what it is.
okay.
I don't know. I guess it could be something along those lines too.
It is definitely slow. So we'll try that out. I have not really sat down and went through everything. When I first got this radio, band stack, I went and I adjusted the audio. That was the first thing I did on TX.
You could look for days and not find nothing wrong with
Okay.
the station, and it ends up shit.
RxDSP.
Yeah, I'm guessing this,
Okay. TX audio, you have all the adjustments. Trust me, there's a ton of them.
the other way, that's when it all stops. So it didn't.
So, if you're curious what settings I'm using on mine for my voice, which is not real deep or not real high, it's kind of normal.
Well, take a portable radio
I don't know what the AMC release time really does, but the parametric EQ frequency, you can go in here and change it to, I have it at 300, you can go down to 200, 100, you can turn it off. So it'll go up to 700, and I guess this is basically the frequency that you're going to affect, and then the level might actually be the Q factor of 10. The higher the number, less. I'm not really sure, so if that's the one, if that's actually the Q, or if it's just the level. There's some debate on that. I had to look at the manual, but what I found is this was what works for me. I put that at 10, and then the bandwidth here is at 5. And you put it at 0. You could go up to 10, which is highlighted. So you can play with that back and forth and just kind of, it'll affect a larger spectrum in the low end. This is supposed to be the mid, this is supposed to be the low. And then we would go to 1400. So you have 1400, 10, 2. Then we have the next frequency, 2500, and then 10, and then 1. And I really haven't played with these numbers too much. And then P parametric is with the processor on. And for whatever reason, I have completely different numbers. It's not even the same anymore. Okay, so P parametric at 400, and the level is 8. The bandwidth is 2. And then for 1500, it's 10, 1. For 2500, it's 10, 1. And that's just kind of like I found for a normal voice a good starting place. Let's see, there's also TX General. So we have 70 meter max power. I don't have that on here. AM max power. It won't go up any higher than that. And that's fine. That's a good amount for tuning up and things like that. Don't know what that does. There is a way to actually make this radio transmit however you want. You put it in the service menu, but I mean, like, what are you going to use this thing for, to talk on 11 meters? I mean, who buys a $1,000 radio to talk on 11 meters that isn't like purpose built for 11 meters? This isn't going to sound good. So anyway, you could do that. And there's a Mars mod, The meter detector, though, is something worth changing. So if you have this on and it's not on peak, it'll be on average. And you'll talk, and the meter will look like you're only putting out like 25 watts. And if you put it on peak, it'll look like you're putting out 100 watts. So, tuning. Okay. So you have your step. Yeah, it's just your sideband FM, and AM step. So now we have the display settings. If you're going to hook the monitor, you do have to go in here and do some things. You can change a few things, and it'll leave like a border. You can put your call sign in here if you don't want the 10 in there. Pop-up time, screensaver, 60 minutes. So if you don't mess with this, after 60 minutes, yaesu will start displaying and moving across the screen. Okay. LED dimmer, 20, I don't know. Mouse pointer speed, 10. And I would definitely want that to be faster because it was not good. Okay. Oh, look, scope. So I wonder if we could change the scope. RBW high. Okay. High, mid, low. Okay, scope center is the carrier. Okay. Maybe the filter would be better. Okay, let's go back out of here. I need a good signal to look at this on. Okay. So his signal is on this side of that.
That doesn't really work for normal use, I would think. Although there was
Let's try this.
a couple of years ago, they had an old 56 station wagon they were dragging.
Okay.
That thing was faster than hell.
We can see it's over here. I need a better signal, but okay, let's get back into this menu here and try this. Okay, scope. We're switching from carrier to filter.
They had this car as a hobby, and they just went on the circuit with them.
Okay. So I think it'll be in the middle of their signal. Yeah.
Probably got the front wheels off the ground too. Oh no, this thing was, I don't know what class it was in, but it was faster than heck. They were flat out drag racing with it.
Or is there just hair on the edge of his signal? Let me try something else. Maybe we can get a good signal on this band. Okay.
Victor Echo 1, I think it was Lima Oscar Whiskey. I'm not quite sure if I've got the suffix correct.
Yeah, that's goofy. It's in the middle of this thing.
My name is Paul, Papa America United London, go ahead.
Oh, Paul's the guy in Spain. Oh. I've talked to this guy before. He's from Scotland, but he's in Spain. Okay.
Okay, got it, I think. Victor Echo 1 Delta X-ray Whiskey. Thank you very much.
You can change the VFO indicator color.
Paul, Papa America United London, and I'm near Valencia.
Valencia.
Valencia on the east coast of Spain, Kevin, huh?
Yeah. I don't know what VMI color. Blue, green, white, red. Okay, so I think we could change a bunch of colors. VMI color clarifier, memory, VFO A and B. That's not anything I want to change. Okay. Now, you got to turn this on if you're going to use that. And then you have your extension settings in here, and the calibration, the software, blah blah blah, all this other crap. So you really cannot mess with a whole lot from this radio. But the nice thing is that everything you can mess with that I know of is on this screen right here. It's not like some of the other radios where you're like, where is it? Where you're scrolling through a menu and then clicking on something else and then scrolling through another menu. So, it's not bad. I don't know what this... I haven't played with any of that. Monitor, mic gain, processor level, AMC level, CW speed, CW pitch, break-in delay. Basically, let's get this off of here.
The amplifier was in the heating up stage, and I heard you working them, so you were sounding good in the keyboard as you mentioned. And usually short next thing, absolutely Q5, so I thought it was a cluster. Not sure how any other European points, some maybe not so, but it's always nice to hear that part of the world on any band, of course, especially here in 40. But it's sounding fantastic. You probably heard what I'm running at. I'm running the Apache Land Andromeda 1KW and the Step High RDB42, which is up at 70 feet just now, beating. I'm actually beating towards you at the moment, Jim Greg.
Yeah, actually, I'm running a 7300 C73 icon, and I've got a 6-band steel BTV antenna by Hustler out in front of my trailer there, so I'm not running a lot, I'm running 100 watts, no amplifier over.
I'm not sure you're asking, hang on.
Alright. Can't hear them no more. So another thing you can do, you can look at quite a bit of span where you can look very, very close. So if you look at 1K, then you'd be looking at less than the signal would be probably from here to there. Yeah, you see we got 188 and 189. Yeah, I've never looked at a signal like that, so I don't know what that would look like really. And right now I can't hear much. And we got 1,000. And then we can see way the hell up to the top of it. It picks where it wants to start and stop, and unlike the 7300, you can't adjust your bandwidth edges, as far as I can tell. So it's a very, very basic radio, really, when it boils down to it. It doesn't do the SWR scanner. You cannot pull up a display that shows SWR and output at the same time, and the temperature and all that. We can do very little. And they just give you the voltage.
I'm in Spain, Valencia, Spain, over.
I just clicked on something. And it is a little easier to touch things on the screen and accurately, you know. I don't know what happens when you do that. But alright, so
about 4 or 5 times already, Oscar, so nice to hear you on 40 one more time. Oscar, can report on the next over.
it's really kind of hard to change anything. Like I've had two 7300s, so you know I've learned to do a lot of stuff on them, and they're actually you can dive pretty deep into them. You can change the color of this part. You can change the color of that part. You can do a lot more with the 7300 than you can this thing. This thing is really, really basic. But also, for whatever reason, this rate's way higher on the Sherwood list. And the one thing I have noticed is that I don't know if I have it on here now. The digital noise reduction on this is the best that I have ever seen. Okay, we'll have to wait until the guy starts talking for you to be able to tell what I'm saying, but it really does get rid of the noise, and you can still hear, and it doesn't sound like I'm underwater. So right now I'm just waiting for the guy to start talking again. But you do get like a water sound for a second, and I think I got it at 5. So it's some of the best noise reduction I've ever seen. I don't really remember using it too much on the 7300, but it wasn't like my 756 Pro where it's just absolutely fucking waste of time to even try and use it. But it's a very basic radio. So I'm not happy about the VFO knob being wobbly like it is and a few other things. But, you know, I mean, if I was a brand new ham, I think this would be the radio I would choose to buy because there's just not really a reason, I don't think, to buy the 7300 at this point because it's so old and they want too much money for it. It should be less than this radio. And the 7300 does have some things this radio doesn't have, and I think it also has the advantage of the tuner works on receive. I don't hear anybody talking about that, but all these radios, the FTDX10 and this radio and the 991A, your tuner doesn't work on receive. So if you have a poorly matched antenna, it doesn't help you on receive. And if you've ever noticed, if you have a poorly matched antenna and you tune the tuner, well, think about it. If you tune the manual tuner, you're peaking the receive for maximum noise. Okay? Well, with this, it doesn't do anything. You don't increase your receive. You still have a bad match. You know, I mean, regardless of what the tuner does, you know, it's not affecting the receive. So if you're trying to pick up a weak station, you're not going to hear them. And that's a really big deal. They cut corners on this radio. It's sad. But at the same time, I don't really use the built-in tuner on the radio either. So, but if I was using it portable, I would be upset. So anyway, I don't know. I mean, the display is better than the 7300. It's got more bandwidth. You can see the entire band. It's a little bit, easier. Let me see what else I forgot. We do have this that I haven't been using. So there's this. So, and the 7300 does that also. And it does some other like really cool stuff. But this is kind of looking at that in your pass band of where your filter is, I guess. Now, I don't know what this is really going to do for you, but, it looks cool, right? And you don't really need to see the rest of that. Now, I wonder if we go like this, if, you can adjust this. I keep wanting to touch the damn monitor. So what does expand do? Expand. Oh, okay. So we get rid. It gets rid of that. So we got these that we don't need, and then now we need a little bit more of the waterfall, and then that. So I think maybe that might be a little bit better. I do really like how the needle moves on these. It's very natural. So, yeah, I mean, you're very limited on what you can do with this radio, and there's probably some more things I don't know about. Soon arrow. I do like the layout of the deal here. Now, the 991A had like this weird deal with VFO A and B, where there wasn't really a VFO in A and B. Let's see. Okay, we'll go here. So there, it shows me which one I'm in there because of the color. And I've got no band stack because I haven't been in here before. Or at least I shouldn't have one. So each time that you push this button, let's just go here, we'll change something. We'll go. Now, we're on fast. Let's see. Okay, so we'll go here, we'll hit band again. It'll go to whatever frequency, let's say 5. Let's say we'll go 574, and we want to be in upper sideband for FT8. Okay, so now it just adjusted the carrier. You see that? I don't like that. I really would like to know how to turn that off, but I'm not sure if there's a way to. Now see, we can see this in the passband, which is really cool. And we can get a pretty good idea of where these guys are operating at. Let's see, we can see the peaks in here. We can see the peaks in here. And that's in the audio frequency of the carrier, the bandwidth. So, then there it is right there. We're right on top of it. So, now we will push the band again. And it's going to go to something else. We'll find something. Not really a lot going on here. Alright, so now when we push band again, it's going to go back to something else. And each time we do that, it's going to go back to one of three things. So that's your band stack. Now, when you have a radio that has a keypad, like my 756 Pro over there, there is each one of those is a band. Come on. Focus, focus, focus. So those are bands. And you just push it multiple times and you'll go through the band stack. It's pretty cool.
A lot of people have them out of the campground and stuff.
So, anyway, you got to do a little more extra work to go through the band stack on these because there's not an individual button to just keep hitting over and over. And it doesn't matter. You have no idea where you're going to go, but so we go back up to the other VFO. And there's really not a whole lot else. We got the noise blanker we can turn on. We got clarifier we can screw around with for RX or TX or both. And that's it. I mean, like, there really isn't, you know, I guess I forgot to mention that we have this whole thing here, shift, width, notch, and contour, and it's all on this knob, and it's really annoying. And you have this one here, which is the knob for, I don't know, DSP, they say, step and memory channel knob. So if you have memories, or it'll switch it through here like that and then screw it up and you won't be able to go back to where you were. It's really annoying. So we have a Triple H. Okay, so anyway, so you can adjust the shift. You know, and you can do this to try and get rid of interference, but I mean, like on most radios, it really doesn't do a lot. Okay, now if you hit it again, I think you can change the width, and you can go out to 4K. Okay, hit it again. And we should be able to do the notch and the contour. I just leave those alone. I really don't find that like any of that really is helpful enough. And then the function will be whatever you had on last. So we're on level. Go back out of here. It just starts adjusting my level. Okay. And then we have the volume and the RF gain and squelch. So that's about it. I mean, really, it's a really, really simple radio. You know, it's much simpler than the 7300. The 7300 is actually, I think, in my opinion, kind of confusing. So, but it has some definite advantages. So thank you guys for watching. I'm getting ready to call it a night. And I still haven't figured out where I want everything, but I definitely like to have this here. It would really be nice if I could sit here and do FT8 and stuff like that, but I do not trust this radio to run FT8. I have a feeling that if you run 100 watts out of this radio on FT8, you are going to burn it up. And I have an extremely bad habit of running 100 watts on FT8 because what happens is I will try and make a contact with 20 watts and then it won't work, and I will turn it up to 100 watts like a dumbass. And of course, you know, that's hard on the radio. This particular radio says in the manual, do not transmit for prolonged amount of time, can damage the PA. What? Whereas back in the day, radios would say 100% duty cycle, full key down for 1 hour. You know, this radio might not even handle 50 watts on FT8 for very long. I know the 7300 can't, and that's why I don't have one anymore. So, and it's sad because this is a really great radio to use for certain things. It has the USB on the back. I guess it has a sound card. I'm pretty sure you can just do FT8 with just a USB cord. And, you know, I think there's even a mode in here for FT8, if I remember correctly. I didn't even thought about that. Let's see what the mode says. Okay. There's not, but I heard there was. So we have data, data U, data L, RTTY, PSK. I wonder if there's like another. Nobody said they had FT8 in there. I don't see it, but it doesn't really matter. What I do is I just use upper sideband. I don't like to use digital because it usually on a yaesu it'll narrow your signal. So let's say we go here and we go data lower sideband. It automatically shifts it to some goofy ass frequency. And I don't think we can hear him because we're not really on that frequency. So, anyway, pretty basic radio, pretty good price, you know. I mean, if you don't like this, I would say probably buy the 7300. You know, it's a good radio. Just don't abuse it. Don't use it on FT8. You know, just use it to talk on. It sounds amazing on AM. I think that AM is hard on the 7300 also, because when I traded mine to my buddy, he used it for AM on 80 meters, and like a year or two later, the finals went out. So, you know, I don't really think that these radios that are coming out are very rugged. You know, they look pretty, they can do cool things. We got this cool adapter, you know, and you need to make sure you use DVI only. Don't be using some HDMI to HDMI, you know. At any rate, that's kind of my little take on this radio. So thanks for watching.